Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Woolcast. I'm your host Craig and this show is coming to you in association with ArmourTalent.com. Joining me this week I've actually got a newbie, which is amazing. We've got a new person to bully on the show. Dan, welcome to the show my friend. Great to have you on.
Thanks for having me boys, appreciate it.
I'm not sure you're going to want to come back on, but look, we'll have a go and see how it goes.
I'm not sure you'll want to have me back on after some of the stories I've got to tell.
We do like a fucked up human being on this show, so you should fit right in, my friend. Also joining me this week, I've got the usual duo of Phil and Jonathan. And lads, lots to get through, but we like to start with the opening question as always. This week's question is one that I've been looking forward to all week, because apart from Jonathan, I'm pretty much surrounded by drunken bowsies here at the Anfield Road Wolves, so let's get going with this one. The question this week, gents, is the funniest thing you've done whilst drunk. What is it? I'm sure we have many, many, many things. But Dan, as the newbie, I'll come to you first, mate. Give us a couple of things you've done while drunk that are funny.
I've got a top three. Coming in at number 3 was walking home one night through centre of York, where I live, eating a kebab with my hands like an absolute disgusting animal. My feet had a disagreement about which way we wanted to walk. I ended up just in the middle of the street, going straight down. Didn't even put my hands out, face straight in the kebab. Sat there cross-legged in the road, peeling kebab meat off my face, eating it just like an absolute creature.
If ever there was a case with the 3-second rule comes in, that's it.
Well, no food at the floor. I'm too fat for that.
I love that you save the kebab rather than save your face.
Well, the kebab cushioned my face, but the problem was the next morning when I woke up and when I got in, I hadn't washed the chili sauce out of my eyes. It wasn't a proud moment.
This is number 3.
Yeah. Number 2, similar story. This was after about 80 quid's worth of vodka. My feet had a disagreement about which way we were going to go, and my face had to with a curve. So I don't remember doing this, but I woke up and I'd snapped one of my front teeth clean in half.
Oh.
And then I was still pissed when I rang the dentist and blagged it on the NHS. So that was a fun one. But the best worst one was I was round a mate's flat. They're going to remain nameless. They know who they are, on the very slim chance they're going to listen to this shit. I meant my involvement, by the way, boys. You guys are golden. Just having a few cans round a mate's. About 2 o'clock in the morning, a couple of them sneak off. Think, oh, they've been gone for a while. So go down the hall. You can hear the sounds. They're just fucking away. So we just start banging on the walls, give them some encouragement, try and put them off as well. Me being me, I booted the door in that was locked, walked in, dropped my trousers, turned around, farted in the faces, and walked out triumphant with my pants around my ankles and thumbs in the air.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
You know what? They didn't miss a beat.
Do you know what? All your fucking drunken stories involve your legs somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
When your legs don't work and like they want to anymore,
you know,
there's definitely some.
Well, yeah, I shouldn't be allowed out of the house, to be fair, but you know,
none of us should. I have to get a special pass from my wife every time I go out, and then passes are becoming like gold dust.
I was gonna say I have one of them to do everything.
Phil, I'll come to you next.
Oh, it's nowhere near as good as it is. I was in Spain and I was on one of these tacky, all-inclusive things where you just drink from the second you wake up to the second you pass out. And I've been drinking all morning, and we decided we were going to go to a couple of bars in town. And I ended up meeting a guy who had actually known from school, and his mum owned a terrace bar out there. He said, "Why don't you come up? We'll have a few more drinks." Now, by terrace bar, I kind of mean like shed with 2 chairs on top of a building. Like once me and him had gone in to go and see his mum, there wasn't any room for anybody else. So we were the only customers. So I spent a fair bit of money in there, as you can imagine, because at this point you don't care how much you're spending because you're off your face. But what ended up happening was I ended up helping myself. I'm going to say with her permission to a brand new bottle of Jägermeister, which I didn't want to pour into shots. So instead I drank it with a silly straw. So there are numerous pictures of me drinking this shit out of a silly straw, which needless to say, actually, if I smell Jägermeister anymore. I want to hurl. I can't drink it anymore. I just can't be done. But anyway, long story short, I'm on my way back to the hotel, and it's about 4 a.m, and it's a family hotel, and the person I'm with is like, we're going to get kicked out. It's a 24-hour manned reception. The lifts are on the other side of the lobby. You're going to have to act sober. So the story goes that I'm walking in like Pink Panther, like proper creeping in. I look at the woman behind the counter who's clearly watching me since the second I've come through the door, thinking, what the fuck is this Englishman doing? And I looked at her and I went, I have to be sober. And then I vomited, which didn't help. The next 2 things that happened anyway, lift doors open, finally get to the lift, and it's one of these mirrored ones. So you got bar on 3 sides and then mirrors on 3 sides. Because obviously there's not a mirror on the door because that'd break. So I go to get in the lift and I put my hand out to reach for the bar, and I completely misjudge how far it is and just fall face first into the lift. So my mate crouches over me, leans down and pulls my legs up so the doors can shut. Anyway, get back to the hotel room. They fall straight asleep. God knows how they do that. I'm still waiting for the world to stop spinning because I feel horrendous. It's that moment where you get into bed and that's when you realise how much you've drank. So I remember that something to do with water makes you sober. So I thought I'd go and have a shower. So I went into the shower, and it was one of these ones with a hot and cold tap, and I forgot the hot tap. So I've got it on and it's running freezing cold. So I think to myself, well, I'll tell you what, I'll get in the bath and I'll put my feet underneath it, fully clothed, I might add. And then when it warms up, I'll get up and have a shower. Anyway, naturally, I fall asleep, fully clothed, with this cold water shower running over me in the bath. About an hour later, I wake up and I'm going to hurl, and I'm going to hurl big time. So I thought, I don't want to hurl on myself, and I don't really want to hurl on the floor. So I grabbed the nearest thing that was sensible to be sick into, which was a bin. Except it was a wicker basket bin. So I'm sick into this bin, and suddenly it's like a colander. This thing is fucking squirting out in like 10 different directions all over the floor. I'd have made less mess just vomiting over the side. This went every fucking where. Needless to say, I avoided housekeeping like the plague for the duration of my holiday. But that's probably the worst because it's put me off Jägermeister for the rest of my life, and it's the only time I've ever made sick in star shapes.
Well, I have to give you some credit because I've never met a Brit on an all-inclusive holiday before who left the hotel to pay for drinks somewhere else.
I need to add, I had a few drinks by this point, so part of me goes, I don't like this free bar anymore. You know what we should do? Go and pay for it somewhere else.
Yeah, I gotta say that you lost me there. The story went south once I heard you'd left the all-inclusive. And on your way back in at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I take it for granted that you put your towel on your sun lounger.
Of course.
On your way to bed. Cause
I just did it in between his job and went and threw other people's off.
I cannot believe that people do that on holidays, by the way. They actually get up at 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning to put fucking towels. Do you know what I do? I get up, and when I go down, I just fuck their towels across the ground and just get on it. Just move the sun lounger off somewhere else, and they'll never know. Fuck them.
You must have been kicked out of a few hotels if you're going around fucking people's towels.
If I run out of socks, a man has to do what a man has to do, whether you run holidays or not. When in Rome.
You need to be careful doing that, though. Some of the holes on those sun loungers are pretty tight.
It only starts getting a bit iffy if you're grabbing kids' towels.
Couple of barley ones floating around the place.
Come here, minion.
Jonathan, I know you're not much of a drinker, Jonathan, but there's surely to God there's been an occasion in your life where you've done something you weren't proud of.
Yeah, well, I have to confess to start off with, I can't compete with the two guys here. They're on a whole different ball game completely.
Alcoholism.
I do remember one. It was my birthday night back in college back in the day, and we were after just leaving the house, well oiled on the way into town, and on the kind of walkway into town. Of course, we were too tight to pay for a taxi, so we walked in, and there was a big, huge, massive boulder at the end of the pathway just to stop cars pretty much driving up this alleyway. It was our shortcut in. So we decided to have a competition to see who could jump over it. And so the guys were all doing the sensible thing. They would just jump take a run and jump, land in the middle of the rock on the boulder, stand on there, and then jump off the far side. Of course, me being an absolute flute, tried to do a complete long jump on it and go completely from one end to the other. Did the jump perfectly, landed the other side. My feet went from underneath me, cracked my head back up against the boulder, split it open. So the lad's been completely sensible, of course. Went to
Laughed and ran away.
Laughed, well, almost. Laughed and ran away to the nearest petrol station, which was only about 2 minutes away. Nicked the first aid kit, came back down, threw a couple of tissues on my head, and into town we go. Later on the night there, we're on the dance floor, and someone goes to me, "There's blood coming down your face." Yeah. So the bouncer came over to us. My friend went to him, "Oh, no. He's fine. Don't worry about it. He just cracked his head earlier on." He went, "Okay, fair enough." Put a bit of tissues on it, and away we go. I think that was a kind of an indication of the establishment we were in at the time.
Mind you, at school though, doesn't it, when they just give you a wet blue paper towel no matter what injury you had? I've been stung by a bee, here's a paper towel. I broke my neck, paper towel.
Paper towel. There's actually one more.
Football, you get the magic sponge.
Yeah, exactly. There's one more that comes to mind, actually. It wasn't me, it was a friend. Okay, so we ended up on a football pitch. Don't ask me how, but we decided to do some sprints back and forth to the pitch, and that was fine. Of course, it was pitch dark. But somebody had left, the mini goals that you use for five-a-side competitions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'd left one of those in the middle of the pitch, and it was pitch dark. My friend pretty much ran straight into one of those, busted his nose, cleats open off the crossbar, and to this day still has a mark on his nose. So we call him the crossbar challenge.
Oh, I can picture that, because we've all had one of those moments, I think, where we've run into something. I'm famous for doing it with glass that I don't see.
Okay.
Sliding doors and stuff, or just running through big glass partitions that aren't there, or are there, but I don't think are there. So I just run.
I kick things that clearly aren't meant to be moved, like boulders and lampposts and shit. And I've got no idea why I do that. I just kind of run up like I'm taking a free kick and boot it, and then realise it hurts.
At least you've learned your lesson, Phil.
Well, yeah, I stopped kicking things.
Funnily enough, my drunken story involves Spain as well. So, we went on a family holiday, let's say 6 years ago. And my wife was pregnant with her second child at the time. So, we brought my cousin with me, and we brought our other daughter, who was, I think, she's about 7 at the time. So, me being the loving husband that I am, decided to get absolutely locked on the first day when we arrived there, just to support my pregnant wife. And I wasn't just drunk. I should also say that I had gallstones at the time, so I was on pretty heavy painkillers. So
this is going to end well.
I started off in the airport at 5:30 in the morning, drinking quarter bottles of white wine. So that evening came and we decided we'd go out for dinner. So we went down the town, or so I was told. And we went into this restaurant. And I'm a fussy bastard at the best of times when it comes to food. I eat really plain food, and I don't eat vegetables. I don't eat many sauces, and I'm a fucking nightmare. So I remember asking this waitress, "Does this burger have onions on it?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, I don't want any onions." So fair enough. So I ordered that. The food came out. I think it was about 10 o'clock at this point, and I was fucking starving. So the food came out. I bite into my burger, and then right in the middle of the burger is onions. So I called the waitress over and I said, "Look, you told me there was no onions on this." And she said, "Look, there's onions in it. They're not on it. That's just the way the burger is. I'm sorry." And I said, "Well, I don't want it." And she said, "Fair enough." And I just became an absolute prick at that point and got it in my head that she needed to be told that I worked for TripAdvisor and that I was going to slate the fuck out of this establishment. Well, they didn't even know the name of it, by the way. But apparently her reaction wasn't enough to appease me. So I then stood up on the bar counter and informed the entire bar that I worked for TripAdvisor and that this place was going to be shut down. My pregnant wife had to drag me off the bar and bring me back to the hotel. Needless to say, she wasn't very impressed with me for the remainder of the holiday, and all of my brownie points were used up in one night.
It's like that scene out of Father Ted, is it? I own the BBC. It's right up there.
I pretty much became that priest that when he gets drunk turns into an absolute cunt.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the guys listening out there, or anyone that's listened to the podcast, has had many, many occasions where they've all done things they regret. And feel free to tweet them at us at the official ARW. We'd love to hear some funny stories about things that have happened to you over the years, because we know there's been plenty of them. So there's no point in getting on your moral high horse here, people. Let's move on. Let's get to the football, lads. First question this week. I'm going to mix it around a little bit. Talk about something we haven't talked about in about 3 minutes. Coutinho. It's after coming out today that, the PR machine has kicked in, Phil. This is your department, so I'm going to come to you first. Coutinho's people are starting to leak out that, he didn't actually mean to say he'd never play for the club again. It was his evil agent and the evil people at Barcelona that just led this poor little waif astray. And he never meant any of it, Phil. He loves us.
This is classic chatting up a girl in a bar syndrome, where you say to your mates, watch this. You walk over there, she flatly rejects you and refuses you, and you walk back and you say, stuck up cow. Yeah, I never wanted her anyway.
And you throw in that she's a lesbian.
And she's a lesbian, yeah. She's a stuck up lesbian that didn't want her anyway.
And she's a Tory.
Let's not do politics. Jesus, I've already had a rant so far today on politics. Let's not even go there. Fucking hell. No, it is though, isn't it? It's this classic deny. He's done what I accused FSG of doing a few weeks ago with that amount of money that got leaked to say this is our transfer kitty. It was that they haven't actually come out and say it. Somebody else has said it on their behalf. So even when it doesn't happen, you can say, it wasn't me. They said it. I never said any of that. It's just standard, isn't it? And now he's throwing his agent under the bus as well, which I quite like because he's the arsehole that was Tevez's agent and he's just a prat. I mean, I'm thinking of loads of words to call it, but he is. He's just an arsehole. So I think Coutinho running him over is quite good. I'd like to watch. But particularly throwing him under the bus just to say, he's an arse. But Coutinho, I was saying this off air, wasn't I, guys? That the thing with Coutinho is World Cup's coming up. He's going to have to play. He can't play with the Anfield faithful pissed off at him every single game because of what he's done. So, of course, in his eyes, he's now got, 10 days till the transfer window closes? He's got 10 days to deny. Never happened. I was interested to see what the offer would be, but I always said I'd only go if Liverpool could get the deal done. I'm committed to the club. I've signed a new 5-year contract. Blah, blah, fucking blah. But that's exactly what he's going to do. And do you know what's interesting about that? And I'm not saying what's right and what's wrong. 95% of Liverpool fans will jump all over that. And in 6 months' time, you'll be having an argument with them about the fact that Phil wanted to leave and they'll be denying it. No, he never. He came out and said that wasn't him. That was other people. They will. They'll swallow it because they always do.
The thing there, though, Phil, is we all have to admit, and someone made this point to me on Twitter, if he bangs on a 30-yarder against Man City in the league, for that moment at least, all is forgiven.
Yeah, exactly.
We are fickle in that way. But Dan...
Of course we are.
Dan, a point I wanted to make to you was, so it's fair enough Coutinho's PR machine is kicking in and he's trying to appease fans. It's common sense. If he knows there's no way out, it's what he has to do. It's what any of us would do in his situation, probably. Especially under the advice that we'd be given. What I don't understand here is, though, he's surely marked his card with Klopp. And Klopp seems to be somebody that, if you cross him and he's decided that your fate is done, i.e. Sacco, that's where I'm worried here. Is there a way back from with Klopp?
With Coutinho, yes, because the apparent rift between Klopp and FSG with the whole selling thing, I think, Phil, you've raised this point on Twitter as well. He was adamant he didn't want to sell Coutinho. As far as I'm aware, there's been no personal falling out. Because I actually think Klopp's been a bit of a baby over the whole Sacco thing. I think we're so bereft of centre-backs. He's an international quality centre-back. Swallow your pride, it was a year ago. You're both grown-ups, get him back in the team. Same with Coutinho, quality player, get him back in the team. Now, this is actually what I've been thinking about all day with Coutinho was sell him. Just get rid. If you don't want to be there, no player's bigger than the club. We survived Suarez going. We survived Torres going. Just flog him and get some bloody defenders, to be quite frank. But for Coutinho, I think, yes, there is a way back because there was no personal falling out, as far that I'm aware of.
Didn't his somebody from his camp leaked that the relationship with the manager had been strained over the past 6
Yeah, but
months.
it was bollocks. It was one of these Coutinho's family members have said this, and it's complete nonsense. Somebody shared a picture on Twitter, and I thought it was brilliant, and I can't remember who it was. You're going to take credit for it, Craig.
That was me, actually, Phil.
It was somebody shared a picture and said that they haven't been getting on for 6 months, and they put a picture of all the times that him and Klopp have been caught hugging and playing around together on and off the pitch and in training. And you're thinking, so during this period that they're cuddling together and having a bit of a laugh in training, they've apparently had a rift that's, it's not consolable. That you're not going to get them back together. They're fuming at each other. They don't want to know each other. Yet here they are having a cuddle. I don't think so.
It was just hate fucking. That's all it was.
It was, yeah.
For that 6 months. Yeah, obviously.
Revenge sex.
How amazing is that, though, to be fair?
That chance would be a fine thing.
Maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe there's going to be some revenge sex. I can see Klopp being quite... No, I'm not even going to go there.
Jesus, there's an image I want to get out of my head as quick as it goes in.
Fucking revenge porn images gone through my head now. Coutinho has a second Mickey Mouse tattoo that none of us knew about. Jonathan, this leads to another point, though, that a couple of people have brought up, and that is player power gone fucking crazy in football? Is it gone out of control? Should the clubs try and wrestle it back and stamp down their authority like some clubs are trying to do this summer?
Oh, there's a question, isn't there? You could literally talk all day about this. You go back to the days of before pre-Bosman, and everything was in the complete contrary altogether. It's probably like anything. It's probably gone a little too far.
Well, Pearl Costa's been treated like a slave.
Oh, he is.
A criminal. Sorry, a criminal. It wasn't a slave. Criminal.
Like he's just been treated like how he behaves on the bloody football pitch, for God's sake.
Conte's reaction to that was fucking priceless.
It was
epic.
I heard on Sky Sports before, though. Apparently, Conte does feel bad about something. Now, how true this version of events is, but apparently he was watching TV and saw an interview with Costa saying that he didn't know what was going on because nobody was talking to him about his future. So he gets out his phone and he texts Costa, "You're not needed."
bit of breaking news while we're on the podcast, lads. We like a bit of breaking news, Jonathan. Apparently, PSG have agreed a deal of £128 million plus Lucas Moura for Kylian Mbappe.
Fuck's sake.
That's just flashing across the Sky screen here in front of me.
That kind of had me look like it was on the cards for the last couple of weeks, didn't it?
Well, financial fair play is great, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, so they now have two ambassadors, is it?
Oh, fucking he's the ambassador to the ambassador.
The ambassador, yeah, that must be it, yeah. So
getting back to player power, Jonathan.
Getting back to player power. A difficult question to answer. Yes and no. It depends really on the circumstances. You can argue at the end of the day, though, if the clubs just don't want to sell, the player won't go. And you can look at the Coutinho example as a perfect example there.
Sorry, breaking news coming from Sky. Apparently, that wasn't the end of the dealings with PSG and Monaco. So they're also saying that there is now a deal for Sky Italy are saying that PSG are also in talks with Monaco to sign Fabinho. So we're talking about Lucas Moura going the other way, Kylian Mbappe, Fabinho, and £201 million going the way of Monaco.
This is getting silly, isn't it?
I swear to God, you'd think I was making this shit up.
When does your season in fantasy or Football Manager end? Is it over in 20 minutes?
This is exactly. I cannot believe this. Like, this is hilarious. But sorry, John, I know I keep dragging you off topic.
No, you're grand. Like,
mental.
That's just laughable, really. It really is laughable. Like, the Neymar one was taking the piss. This is just gone to another extreme altogether. But in terms of player power, like, at the end of the day, if the clubs don't want to sell, they don't want to sell. And you look at Coutinho, by all accounts, he's acting like a complete dick. Or I know he's going to try and blame it on his representatives, but the player himself acted like a dick. And it looks like, barring a late change, a drastic change of that, he won't get his move. You look at Costa, the criminal, has completely acted like a proper dick. Struggling to get his move.
Dijk as well. We can't forget him.
We can. I suppose you can, but that looks like it may get done. All the noises that I kind of read earlier today is that, it looks like that's swinging back swinging back into regard. It's a mixed boat, really. I won't say it's complete the power with the players, but they certainly have a lot more power and a lot more sway in it. But at the end of the day, the clubs still have to make a dealings with each other. I'd say it's like maybe 60-70% power with the players at the moment. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what you guys think.
Well,
ultimate power.
The way I kind of look at this is, and I watched something on the TV the other day, I was telling the guys before, with Simon Jordan, the ex-Palace owner, and I don't really ever agree with much that lad has to say. But he did make some valid points in that these people have to realise they're employees of a football club. If under nothing else, the club have to stamp down their authority at some point and say, look, we are in charge here. We have a brand, a company, an establishment to protect and cannot let its name be dragged through the mud. So if we were to take all emotion out of it and players that we want at our club, if we were to be cold about this, I'd look at it and say that I fully back the club stance in that they have the right to decide what happens here. If the player, now they should not have the right to send the player to a club he doesn't want to go to, but they should have a right to tell the player, look, no, you've signed a new contract recently, whether this be Coutinho, whether this be Van Dijk. If they were silly enough to have their agents sort out deals for them that didn't have buyout clauses, then their agent needs to be sacked, and that's their own problem. So in the cold light of day, John, my point would be that I back the clubs, and I think the clubs should have final say on everything, because they're the ones that fork out the bucks for these players in the first place.
Yeah, I would totally agree. Players, it's not like I go back to rewind it back pre-Bosman, where players' conditions and their welfare were in a complete different scenario altogether. Now every player, even from a basic championship player, is pretty much sorted for life financially. So it's not like if they're being held as slaves or anything like that. Even if they're forced to stay at a club, they're still doing bloody all right for it. So I would totally back the clubs having the final say, because, as you said, they're the ones that are investing that money and giving these greedy players a hell of a lot of dosh.
And paying these greedy agents as well that are telling them to get a move.
Yeah, the agents scenario see now is one that really frustrates me. It's almost like the more Del Boy you are, the better you get, and the higher you get in agent terms.
I just don't understand their motivation. I mean, they get a percentage of the deal when a player moves, but where's the motivation for them to move a player? I mean, I just can't
Rather
see
than
it.
them staying put and not getting a few million for him.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Why would you leak it all over the place just to try and create a shitstorm for a player to leave?
But that's exactly why.
So is what's going to happen here then, Phil, basically, is Phil, you're my agent. God, heaven forbid, right. You'd be fucked.
Jesus, that's the first mistake you've made.
So you're in negotiating a contract for me now.
Okay, I'll give you $1 million.
I'm never going to be a Barcelona player. So we'll say Yeovil Town come in for me.
Yeah.
And I have an option of signing another contract with Accrington Stanley. Or Yeovil Town come in for me. And you're going to make 100 grand if I sign for Yeovil Town. Or you're going to get your normal 10% of my wages or whatever it is if I stay at Accrington Stanley. Is it going to get to a stage where the football clubs are going to have to pay the agents the fee they would have got for their player moving just to fucking keep the player?
You mean like an agent signing on fee kind of thing?
Pretty much. Is that the direction we're headed?
I mean, the agents certainly have too much power, don't they? And I think that's the scary thing with this. I think the issue comes down to, and this won't be a very popular comment, but what's new? Is a player an employee, or are they an asset? Or are they a mixture of both? Because technically, if you look at them as an asset, and I know they are humans, so just bear with me for a sec, but if you look at them as an asset, buying an asset, as we did for Coutinho at $8.5 million, paying him his salary, and then selling him X amount of years later for $100+ million is a very good piece of business with an asset. What makes that more difficult is that asset has a personality, and it has a voice, and it has an agent that's a gobshite. And that's the difficulty that you find yourself in, because you're then talking about, well, we pay your wages and we keep you here. Well, yeah, you do, but I'm the one doing all the work. I'm the one doing the playing. So if I've earned a move and I want that move somewhere else, let me go and play somewhere else, which is where you end up with this awful situation. I mean, you just hit my nail on the head about you, for example, with this transfer deal. What would I do with you in that scenario? Exactly the same thing that Kia has done for Coutinho. You make it almost impossible for them to stay at their host club. You big up how much they want to go and play for the team that are interested in them. You get every media on this side of the water and on that side of the water saying the same things. Oh, there's been problems. Oh, there's been this. What they wanted was the Liverpool fans to say, fuck off, Coutinho. We've had enough of you. That's what his agent wanted, because if his agent gets the fans in that position, it's really easy to justify a move to the club, because you're going to have to say to the club, listen, we've created such a shitstorm, it's going to take you ages to fix this, even if you can fix it. So right now, your better option could actually be taking the money, bringing in somebody the fans are excited about, rather than trying to keep somebody that the fans want the blood of. And that's exactly what they did.
Dan, you've heard what the two lads have had to say on this particular subject. What's your take on it, mate?
Well, just going back to the point about agents, I think it's agent power rather than player power that's causing a lot of the shite. The minute you mentioned Kia, we were talking off air about Mino Raiola. Look how much he made off the Pogba deal. What was it? He made something like 20 million off the Pogba deal. So you've got these, well, again, I don't know him personally, so but you've got these people who seem to be slimy bastards behind the scenes.
Say it. He's not listening. Say it.
I studied as a journalist, Phil, and I'm acutely aware of libel and defamation.
It's okay. It's okay. We just play dumb on this podcast.
I don't like hip hop.
But you got the agents behind the scenes, self-serving, facilitating this prima donna attitude. But equally, if you look at them as employees rather than assets, like you were saying, Phil, I could go in tomorrow, give my 2 weeks' notice, and say I'll not be back. I've got another job. Whereas these guys are handing in transfer requests, and they're getting turned around and said, "Well, no, fuck off, we're keeping you."
I've had that once in a really genuinely in real life working scenario, not in a football scenario. I handed in my notice and it got rejected, and I didn't know they could do that. And I literally sat looking at the screen and the email, going, "What the fuck do I do now?" Because I'm still leaving.
Yeah, but the vast majority of places will unless they.
But that's what I'm saying. I got told no, but my attitude was, well, I'm still leaving anyway, which has surely got to be the same attitude as the players. If you hand in a transfer request and make it public that you have handed in a transfer request, surely your mentality now is that you are leaving. So even if the club say no, your stance doesn't change and go, oh, all right then. Your stance is no, I am, and I'm going to kick up a fucking fuss until you let me go.
So where do we get to then? We're in a tribunal where the club are saying that they want to be compensated for their loss of earnings, their loss of income from sponsorship, their loss of points on the pitch.
Merchandise.
Yeah, everything.
It just gets messy because they have to start arguing with the player, particularly if you breach a contract. That's the first thing you'd look at. If that player has a contract and they're refusing to play, then they're breaching that contract. And there will be sanctions in that contract written in, be it wages docked, be it fines, be it suspensions, be it whatever. There will be sanctions in their contracts that will then be enforced. But I think that's exactly the scenario we find ourselves in now. Players and particularly agents, I agree with Dan. I think it is agent power more than player power. But I mean, even the players, they're whether you call them puppets or whether they're orchestrating this. I mean, who's running the show here? Is the agent running the show and the players doing as he's told, or is the player? Do you know what I mean? Is the player calling the shots and his agent, as his employee, is doing what he's supposed to do? I personally think, given how thick footballers are, that they couldn't actually orchestrate this anyway, so that this is the agents doing this. That's just
could well be. Like I say, it's everybody's agenda. The agents can be saying one thing, saying, "Oh yeah, this is the best for you, mate. Get to this club, you'll make more money." Which I'll never begrudge anybody making more money. If I was going to be paid $100,000 a week to do my job, I'd snap your hand off. But I think it's all sort of conspired to create this, as I said before, this prima donna attitude. Footballers have just mollycoddled. I don't sound like a typical northerner when I say that, but they are just so bubble wrapped and say, all right, darling, it's not your fault. You want to go, you leave. It's fine.
No, you're right.
Look, none of us can deny there is a human element to it,
of course,
to an extent, but they also are well aware, like, if you're paid this money, you're under contract, like, this is money that the rest of us can only dream of, and they're not exactly suffering hardship is my view on this. They were quite willing to sell that contract. Now, if something happened at the club that they genuinely felt wronged by the club, genuinely, look, fair enough, you have a case, go take it up with a solicitor and go through that channel. But what I don't like about this, lads, is that players, clubs, agents, whoever it may be, think that we are all idiots.
Oh, yeah.
And that we don't see any of their little tricks. Now, look, we've all been fooled by PR spin many, many times, probably.
I was about to say the problem is they're right. Most fans do swallow it. I mean, you get the occasional people who won't believe one thing or will believe another, but most fans do believe it. Or even, let's say not most, that's harsh. A large percentage of fans believe it, and they listen to it, and they will swallow it. It's like I referred to earlier with the Phil Coutinho stuff. In 6 months' time, we'll be having Twitter arguments with these people about the fact that he never wanted to leave. Because, oh no, Phil said he never wanted to leave. Oh, well, that must be it then. Black and white. Stick your blinkers on and go put your tinfoil out and go sit in the corner.
Well,
yeah, and how many times have we seen players use a transfer request to engineer a new deal? Yeah. Name no names, but Rooney.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's not. To be fair, he's back where he belongs. He's one of them now. Do you know what I mean? Their favourite son and all that jazz.
Yeah,
they never abused him for years.
I'm shit now, lads. I'll come back.
but I want more money than when I was good. But I love you. I love the club.
They should have just given Ford Fiesta like they did the first time.
Ford
KA.
I think that they should have made Rooney go to China and made a fucking documentary on it. Wayne Rooney hits China. Can you imagine 24 hours following him around with a camera in China? I mean, I'd pay for that. That's pay-per-view content right there. I'd pay for that.
I mean, with the world ready for fighting each other anyway, I think sending Rooney anywhere abroad would be a mistake.
Can you imagine, Phil? Can you imagine the Darren Farley impressions of Wayne Rooney in China? Would they be priceless?
They'd just be priceless. It just would be out of this world. I would pay money to see it.
The word chow mein would be in there about 4 times.
Excuse me, slow down. Jonathan, do that impression again.
Didn't happen, did it?
I couldn't tell if there was a sneeze coming. And then it was the way that you just seamlessly jumped back into your own voice like it never happened.
Yeah, it was just a blip.
Look, you know yourself, Phil, from being on this show, it does funny things to you at times, and you come out with stuff that you don't even know yourself till you listen back and go, did I say that?
Shit, said that.
I don't remember that. Look, lads,
I best not go out today.
This leads me seamlessly into a topic that a couple of listeners have asked about, and Akol Harrison wants to know, what's the situation with Van Dijk? Do we have any inside information? Do we know anything? What's our gut feeling on it? Excuse me if I pronounced your name wrong, by the way, because it's spelled Coel. So, excuse me if I pronounced it wrong, but it's @CallHarrison94 on Twitter. Asks, what's the situation with Van Dijk? Look, we don't
comes
do
to us.
ITK stuff.
This isn't ITK, but
we don't do ITK stuff on the pod where we can. But look, we all have a damn opinion on this, so we're going to talk about it.
I still think he comes to us. I've said it all along.
Is that because you heard it from your mate, who's a friend, who's the other fella cleans the jacks of the fella who cleans the cars of the lad who fluffs the lad who shoots porns for Coutinho?
That'll be him, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
He's
also a decent fella. He's reliable.
He's a sound lad, yeah. He's a sound lad.
Coutinho has a porn dealer.
Don't you?
Yeah. Don't you? Is that not the same guy you go to, Phil, no?
What else would you possibly do with that 4-foot minion behind you?
I was going to say he also does minions, because that's definitely a set. I'm not having this birthday party in my arse. No, he still comes to us in my mind.
Do you think, Jonathan, that there's any truth to the Chelsea interest, or that we're waiting for a Chelsea bid, perhaps?
I don't. Because I think if Chelsea were really interested, they would have bid the second we send out that shitty statement.
That's a valid point. Chelsea don't really hang around, do they?
No, that's our department, Phil.
Why? If they were if they were really interested, surely that was the time just to pop in a bid. Not wait and wait. I don't see, like, Chelsea, what they've let, is it 2 centre halves they've let go? They've let Zumba go and they've let Terry go.
Did you just say Zumba?
Yeah, Zumba as the dancing.
They replaced him with a bit of Tai Chi, did they?
they did, yeah, and a bit of Pilates down the wing. I I know if Chelsea were really interested, they would have bid the second. That's the same going for City as well. They would have bid straight away once that statement hit the cold light of day.
What City would actually value him at if they valued John Stones at 50 million and Kyle Walker at 50 million? Surely he's 150 million quid defender then.
They definitely need the ambassador role, and it was if they're trying to buy him.
Yeah, it's gone crazy. But going back to Van Dijk, Dan, what's your gut feeling on this?
He's not coming. I'm completely opposite, to be honest.
You can fuck off. You can fuck off.
Yeah, we'll just get rid of him off the pod. Here, put that section there.
I can't see it. I'm pessimistic with this one.
No, I can't hear you anymore.
I can't see it. Oh dear, why did I open my fucking mouth?
No, to be fair, go on. It's not valid. Your point's bullshit, but go on.
Not happening.
I can't see it happening now. We've fucked around too much. I hope I'm wrong, by the way, because I rate him. I do rate him. I mean, maybe not 70 million quid's worth, but that's the current market. That's another discussion entirely. But gut feeling is we've pissed him around too much. We've already taken about 700 players off him in the last 3 years, and I think this is the tipping point where we say about us standing fast with Coutinho. Why it's surely a sign for them to stand fast with us over Van Dijk.
Yeah, this is where we're all hypocrites, isn't it? We want exactly what you said from our club, but we want to look at Southampton and go, well, look, we bought all these players off them, but we paid them well. We paid them handsomely. We allowed the club to flourish, but we wouldn't dare look at that situation with Barcelona giving us 65 million for Suarez at the time, or the possible 100-odd million for Coutinho. So yeah, look, I agree with you on that point. We're all fucking hypocrites.
It's like we're filling out a fucking Greg's card, buy so many players and get a free pasting.
Well, I think the club was valued at 250 million recently. Southampton, we could have fucking bought the club.
Yeah,
we could have gone completely Red Bull on this and just bought the club. And go, no, it's got nothing to do with us. No, completely different clubs. Completely different clubs. They might both be called Liverpool, but they're completely different clubs. So you don't think it's happening, and do you think he may end up at Chelsea, or do you think he's genuinely going to stay at Southampton?
I think he'll stay at Southampton. Yeah, like I say, I really hope I'm wrong. I hope he does come to us, because he's better. He's better than the vast majority we've got a centre back at the minute, bar maybe Matip.
I don't know. I think Van Dijk's just a poor man's Klavan.
I've heard you guys slagging off Klavan. I don't mind him.
Oh no! Apparently, we say we're slagging off for Origi and Mignolet. Apparently.
Yeah, that's fair though.
Well, yeah, no.
Loftus run down the wing and making bits of him. Does that not do anything to your Klavan argument?
I think though with Klavan, the thing we have to look at though with Klavan, Jonathan, is when he came in, he was pretty much bought as a fourth defender, wasn't he? Like we all thought, look, he's cover. He was really cheap, wasn't he?
He was
4 million.
Yeah, like
4 million or something, wasn't it?
I mean, we paid Coutinho's agent that much just to go away.
Just to sit down.
Yeah. So, to be fair, from that point of view, I don't think we can judge Klavan in the same way as we try and judge maybe a Lovren or a Sacco possibly, or definitely a Van Dijk. So
it'd be like judging Ricky Lambert on Suarez's goal return. I know they never played together, but
yeah, no. To be fair, and Ricky Lambert is shit hot at painting and decorating as well. So
we thought we thought we were getting another Kyriakos. That's what we thought we were doing.
Jesus Christ, there's bad days. I just remember him under Hodgson when we used to be chasing a game, and he would just end up front, and we'd start horsing balls up to him. Oh Jesus, those were the days.
I think I blocked those days out of my mind. I don't think I could quite handle it.
Even though Klopp tried to revive it by punting Stephen Corker up there.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. Oh, good times.
You know what, though? All the respect in the world for Stephen Corker for what he went through over the past year or so.
Absolutely.
So, fair play to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
For talking about that and bringing that subject to the fore, because it's one that's dear to many of our hearts. But he was still crap when he played for us.
Oh, yeah.
I like the way you get to dig in at the end.
Well, look, I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to cover all viewpoints here. A second part of the question, actually, from Cole, and again, apologies if I've mispronounced your name. He wants to know if you could pick a centre-back from our LFC past and drop him into this side now, who would it be? And you're not allowed to say Alan Hansen. I'm saying that right now because it's too fucking easy. So pick a centre-back
This is in their prime, right? This isn't like now.
Well, no,
Like
you're not going to
stick
drag
like some 60-year-old in the back.
You're not going to go into Sky Studios and whip out Tomo or something and drag him into fucking.
He'd be better than Lovren. No, I'm going to start this off. I'm going to start this off with Daniel Agger, fit prime Daniel Agger.
Well, I take your Daniel Agger, and I'm going to raise you with Sammy Hippier.
Yeah. Oh, you've just taken my guy.
I know, that's why. Sammy. I had to get in quickly, Jonathan, because the good ones go quick.
They seem to be.
Man's Cara then.
Oh yeah, it's got to be Cara.
Jesus, who am I left with? Phil Babb?
He's got Stefan Hocho. Lucas as well. You can have Lucas.
Does Lucas count? Yeah.
Pick Stephen Corker.
No, he's centre forward.
Yeah. He never played centre at first. Hansen would be the perfect one. I know we said we can't pick him. He would be the perfect one. Trying to think back at maybe Lawrenson would probably, if he can keep his bad jokes aside, he probably would have fit fairly decently into our style of football at the moment.
I can see him being battered in the changing rooms though once he opens his mouth.
Oh yeah, of course.
Honestly, though, we've all come across with our points, but which one, if we were to come to an agreement between us all, and which one we actually think would suit what we need at this moment in time? Who do we think would Agger? I'd probably be along the lines of a Hippier or a Carragher. I think we need an organiser.
Yeah,
I think Carragher might struggle. I'm going to be controversial. I think Carragher would struggle in our team at the moment.
And I think Agger would
Carragher's management.
I think Agger would be exactly what we have now as well, which is a defender that can't play 30 games a season.
That's all true.
Okay, well, yeah. If I'm saying with Agger, I'm going in the hypothetical world of he stays fit.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm not talking Daniel Agger of 2 games a season. I'm talking Daniel Agger, like we never saw him actually playing football.
Exactly, so he doesn't exist.
That's why I want him.
I'm going with Sammy Hippier because of the aerial presence that he brings to the party.
You've got to love Sammy. You've got to love Sammy.
Everything about that deal was beautiful, wasn't it? The price, where he came from, how long he stayed, the fact that he looks like if you said anything to him, he'd just fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Love Sammy. So, has anybody got any say against Sammy? Anybody got anybody else? Because Agger would have been great, but he's basically what we have now, an injured centre back.
If we're not going Cara, I'd go Hoopier. I'll go Sammy.
I love Sammy.
Jonathan, are you happy enough to go Hippier?
Yeah, I'm happy enough with Hippier, but I would love for us to sign another player like Hippier for his $4.5 million and wait for the reaction on Twitter and then come back a year.
Clavan.
I said someone good and wait for the reaction for a year's time when he turns out to be a superstar, because that would be the biggest 2 fingers up to some of the absolute melts we have in our fan base.
Although, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate every single one of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You're a melt.
Yeah, way to go, Jonathan. Thank God we're not charging. Lads, we can't get away from this. There's 10 days to go. We brought it up with Van Dijk. Do we think anything else is going to come in or out, we'll say, over the next 10 days? Because it's what people want to know about. It's what people are talking about. It's what we all live for at this part of the window. So, has anybody got any sneaky suspicions or anything that they might have heard or hoped that's going to happen in the next 10 days, Dan? As the guest, or as the first time on the show, I'll let you have this one.
I've got a lot of hope, but no inside knowledge. If we're going sort of fantasy signings, I still think we're a top quality left back shy. Andy Robertson's a great bit of business at $8 million, but he's very much one for the future. He looked cracking at the weekend, but literally just going off as the fat ass playing Football Manager every night. I'd want us going for somebody like Jonas Hector. But I doubt it's going to happen.
Was he still at Cologne?
Yeah, he's still there.
Wasn't he? He was last year's fucking messiah at left back, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. But no, like I said, I'm pessimistic on the transfer front. I don't think much of anything will come through. Because, like I said, I think the Van Dijk deal's off. It's quite clear the Keita deal's off as well.
But so tell us this: did you enjoy your only ever appearance on the Woolcast. You miserable bastard.
What did you expect bringing a Northerner on?
We're
Yeah,
fucked.
that's right.
Everything's
Fair
doomed.
point.
Just pass me the knife.
So we'll add stereotype into the list of offensive things we've said to listeners today. Just take that one off on your ARW bingo list.
All I'm saying is when Stoke City can get a fairly highly rated centre back like Bruno Martins Indy for £7 million, and we can't sign anyone for 70.
Well, do you think that we're gonna get rid of anyone? Do you see a Sacco going out, or do you see a Moreno going out? Perhaps. I know
I hope so.
we sent Kent out on loan, didn't we?
Yeah, I think he's
Is it
gone.
Leipzig? Is he ever gone to Leipzig?
I don't think it's been confirmed yet, isn't it?
There's rumours of him going out on loan. I'm sure I've seen something on Twitter earlier today.
The last I read, and I was offline for a few hours, but the last I read was they were still hadn't made up their mind what they were going to do with him this season.
Fair enough.
He's like one of these players, isn't he? He's too good for the 23s, but not quite at that level where he'll make the bench when we have a full strength squad. So like, it's what do you do with a player like that?
Tell us the truth. Once you heard he might be gone to Leipzig, didn't it pop into your head?
Oh,
didn't it? Go on, tell the truth.
Yeah, it did. It was like we've been negotiating with them, and they want some sweeteners in there as well. So there you go.
The Ojo deal to Fulham as well. It's like that young left back of yours. You know the way we give you a nice young talented player there for the season. Can we take him back as well as Ojo when his loan move is finished?
Yeah, can we have dibs on Mr. Sessegnon, please?
Yes.
So,
well, get even there wanting 25 million out there for Sessegnon.
Yeah,
at 17.
It's probably worth it, to be fair.
Do you see us getting rid of anybody, Dan, in the next 10 days?
I'd like to see Moreno go. I think he's past his use for us. But then again, I'm heavily biased because I was at the West Brom game when he came on and fucked up that open goal.
I was just saying, we've said this many times. Do you remember the Spurs game when he first started and he scored that goal? He came down. He
bossed it, didn't he?
And
I thought it was the second coming of Reese.
Oh,
he used it. He used it all up though. It was all that game. That's it. That was it.
We all thought that's it now. Problem sorted. That's us sorted now for the next 5 or 6 years at left back. He's brilliant.
He's the second coming of Jose Enrique.
Yeah, that's it. Without the fee for masterclass. And the Knowlesy Safari Park annual membership that Jose Enrique had.
Bring back Jimmy Traore.
Oh God.
I'll never ever forgive him for that FA Cup tie, that own goal. Never.
Bring back Konchesky's mum. She loves us.
And Dan, if we were to get rid of Moreno, what type of figure would you be estimating we'd look for?
Curly Willy in a warm can of Coke.
He's not even worth getting one out of the back of the fridge, no.
No.
I'd take a warm can of Coke.
So you can have a cold Curly Whirly, but a warm can of Coke.
I would give away a warm can of Coke and a Curly Whirly to get rid of Ed Sheeran. Sorry, Adam Bogdan. I saw him sat there in his suit the other day like some lost hobo, and I was
scruffy
thinking,
as a fuck, isn't he?
Are you still here?
Phil's robbing my fucking jokes again.
Sorry. Oh, but I tell you what, I said this when he first started playing for us, because I played a couple of tournaments against Adam when he was in Hungary. And I said,
cling, dropping names everywhere. Cling.
No, so listen, anybody that I have scored against should never be Liverpool goalkeeper. I think that should just be a rule written in stone.
That rules your misses out straight away.
Exactly. If I have scored past you, actually not so much. If I have scored past you, you should not ever play for Liverpool. I think that's got to be a law.
I'd back that law. You'd get my signature. Phil, you've heard what the miserable fucking Grinch over there has had to say. Nobody in or out. Close the doors. Turn off the lights. We're finished.
It's all fucked.
All about the positivity on this podcast. All about it. Phil, surely you, even in your most darkest hour, have some optimism.
A little bit. No. I mean, I'm not going to set the world alight. I reckon we'll get Van Dijk, but I reckon it's going to be one of these last day panic things where it's like, quick, come here, we'll just give you whatever money you want because you've held strong all summer. I think we'll get rid of a few.
Wasn't there something in the paper though about, or somebody came out and said they expected a deal done on Thursday or before Thursday for Van Dijk? I think this had come out. A journo did a podcast or a TV show. I think it might have been a Mirror Mail journalist.
Oh, well, there you go. It's ruined then. Don't worry about it.
Somebody along those lines, but they said that they expected that deal for Van Dijk to be done by Thursday. So
great. Well, that's not likely.
7 o'clock, is it?
If that's been done by the Mirror
and
or
the countdown
Mail,
clock has started.
If that's been done by the Mirror or the Mail, just forget it now. That reading that actually killed brain cells.
They're the ones that got us in the mess in the first place, aren't they? The Mail.
I don't know. I do have to defend a little bit. I have a lot of respect for Jim Boardman on the Mirror. To be fair, a lot of time for Jim.
True, absolutely. No, Jim's a top lad.
Well, you can save face. I don't like the Mirror.
Oh no! Look, Jim's been very, very good to the club over the years. I think, and he's trying to be as honest as possible.
I just don't like the Mirror. The Mirror in general, not just anything football related. The Mirror just talks shit, just like the Daily Fail.
To be fair, they're all lying bastards. All the newspapers in general.
What are they? They're a business. They've got to sell stories, so they've got to get clicks. They've got to
the
sell paper.
journals that work for them and cover the hard yards and stuff. In the majority, apart from a couple, are all good lads.
It's so much easier to write up north though in papers because all you've got to do is just write "we're fucked, everything's screwed."
This makes excellent chip rap.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then what happens is you get up towards Yorkshire way, they start seeing that paper going, I completely agree with this paper. This paper says that everything is shit, and I believe it.
It's true.
So Van Dijk's in, Phil. Anybody else?
Yeah.
And anyone out the door?
I don't think anybody else in. No, I don't. And yeah, I think we'll see a few people go. I don't think we'll see Moreno go. Personally. Sorry.
No, he stays.
I think Moreno stays as well. I think some of the younger lads will probably go out on loan. I don't see there being anybody leaving that we're asked about. Yeah, I really don't. I mean, I'm just thinking through players that could actually potentially leave and whether I'd be upset, and I don't think I would. So no, I think we'll probably loan 3 or 4 players, we'll sell 1 or 2, and we'll buy 1.
Jonathan, to you, but I also want to add something in from a listener. Paul at Hipster78 wants to know, does Klopp's recent strange comments to the media regarding Coutinho give you any concerns about the problems behind the scenes with Klopp and FSG? So if you could somehow work that into an answer with players you think are coming in and out, I'd really appreciate that one, buddy.
Okay. Yeah, there seems to be a mess behind the scenes from everything you read online. All the murmurings are that there was kind of a difference of opinion on what they should do with the future of Coutinho. I think that's pretty clear, and I think you only have to look at Klopp's strange comments in his media work after the game, after the weekend, to just to show that there is some bit of substance in that. There's a lot of strange. I think his trust with Coutinho has kind of come to a level. I'm not saying it's quite Zacco levels yet, but there's definitely a trust issue there.
Will he get over that, do you think, and let him play again? That's what I was trying to raise with Dan earlier on. I have my concerns on that point.
I have my concerns on that point, considering how much he pretty much just completely ousted Zacco.
Who?
And yeah, exactly. Considering let's face it, no disrespect to Clavin or even Lucas or whatever last season, like Zacco if you just leave all the other issues to one side in terms of pure ability and their benefit to the team, Zacco was miles ahead of them. And
I think we sell Zacco, by the way. Just on that note,
I think we do if we get the right price.
What is the number you think? 30?
30, they say.
But what is the point? I mean, without trying to sound like an ass, what's the point? He's not playing for us anyway. So even if somebody offers you 15, 20 million, you're getting him off the wage bill. You don't want him around the club. His attitude's surely not that great at the minute. I mean, he's basically been told no matter what you do, you're not playing. So that's hard to remain motivated like that. So if somebody comes in and offers you, that's what they're saying, 30 million they want for him. Somebody comes in and offers 20 million. Why the hell wouldn't you take it? Because he's just appreciating in value and he's seeing his contract out. So what's the point?
On the other side of that, though, Phil, you have to look at the market and go, in this market, Sacco is easily a £30 million defender.
Sacco is a £30 million defender if he's playing. Sacco isn't playing. Sacco isn't being used, so his value has to depreciate. It's basic economics, isn't it? Supply and demand. He's not in supply. Nobody wants him. There's no demand for him. So if there's no demand for him, then his price goes down.
It seems that we're almost just holding off to see what Palace are going to come in with at the end.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, and you see De Boer saying, "Oh yeah, we're interested in him, but we can't, or we're not going to pay 30 million." Like, I can still see it might go quite close to the deadline, but a deal has to be done there. Like,
he'll go.
Yeah, he has to. Coutinho one is a strange one.
Do you think it's caused a rift between Klopp and the owners?
Yes, I do. And it's left with it's the rift with that. I won't say that's okay, but I think that's a hell of a lot easier to soften out than the rift between Coutinho and Klopp. That could be a strange one. Coutinho seems to have started his first couple of steps this evening there, saying, "Oh, look, it wasn't me; it was my representative," and completely run them under the bus, as you guys mentioned earlier there.
But that won't help with Klopp.
It won't help
with the fans, but that will help with Klopp because Klopp's not going to believe that.
No, he's not.
He's seen the player. He's spoken to the player.
Yeah, and
certainly far more than we have. He's witnessed his attitude. He's witnessed
and the placebo back injury.
Well, you've seen him recently as well, haven't you? I mean, he's been going in and out of training looking like he swallowed a wasp. I mean, if he's got that face on him when he gets into training, then Klopp's going to know what's up. So, him blaming his agent is to soften things with the fans to get him off his back. I think the damage with Klopp is going to be far more difficult to solve. I think he'll do it, or if he doesn't do it, he certainly does it enough that he can play, and there'll be a little bit of. It's kind of like when you work with someone and they're an asshole, and you just kind of put it. You see
the rewards of them, don't you?
Yeah, you just kind of say, "Do you know what?"
But you still let him and his minion on the podcast anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, no, like I think Coutinho the thing about Coutinho has standing for him is he's a bloody good footballer, and he walks straight into our team and makes a huge difference to our team in a number of different scenarios of games. It's going to be tough. It may take another month or so, but I see him edging back into the team. Once he gets one opportunity in the team, he's going to show enough then to Klopp to even be as stubborn as he is to get edge his way back in. That's my opinion.
One of the interesting things about Klopp with this whole scenario isn't going to be just the fact that Klopp is pissed off. It's going to be about the fact that one of the things that a lot of the ex-players are coming out and saying, and even current players actually that are working under Klopp, is that he's bringing an attitude to the club. It's not just about a style of football on the pitch. It's about the way you conduct yourself off the pitch. It's the way you communicate with your teammates. It's all that. Now, if the first thing he does, now the transfer window shuts, we're fast forwarding 10 days, is say, "Here you go, Phil, here's your starting 11 place back, no problem at all, come in." Doesn't that undo and belittle the message that he spent the last 2 years putting out, which is this is the attitude you have to play for this club. This is the fight that I want to see for you. This is the passion that I want to see for you. Oh, but this little sellout over here that wanted to leave, I'm going to put him straight back in the squad over somebody who's had a better attitude than him overall towards the squad. I'm just not sure that says.
Is this where the international break is going to be a godsend for Coutinho? Just give him that time and distance.
Yes.
Coutinho needs to get away for a bit. Absolutely.
I saw somebody saying there they expect him to come back playing for Liverpool just after the international break.
I can believe that. Yeah, I can believe that.
That's precisely where I got that statement from as well. What Jonathan just said.
Oh, is it? Sorry.
I seen. I can't even claim this one was me.
Really? That's not like you.
No, this one wasn't me, and I can't remember who it was. Give them credit, to be fair. Before we move on to the last subject, which is Wednesday, I just want to ask. There's another question came in, but I just want to aim this at Dan because we've covered it before ourselves. And Phil, you'll know why I'm keeping away from this because you hate the whole of America. You've got something against an entire country. So, Dan,
just to clarify, that's not true.
It is. No, you were accused of it. It's true. If a listener accuses you of something, it's true, and you're just going to have to take it on the chin.
I did genuinely. I questioned FSG's ownership, and the response was, "You're just anti-American." Yeah, of course I am, asshole.
I tried to soften it by saying I'm going there and me jolly bobs, but didn't work.
It didn't work. No.
So, Dan, do you honestly think that this comes from Paul Tabley, by the way, at Paul #1? So, do you think that FSG will invest enough to take us to the next level and to be competitive on all levels? we covered this, so I'm not even going to ask Jonathan. I'm not even going to
Let's
ask
ask
Jonathan
Mr.
and
Cheery. Come on.
the anti-American contingent over there.
Yeah, I think we're going to get 500 million every season, and it's going to be fantastic.
That's the answer. You're
That's better.
learning.
That is definitely something.
It was actually. You know me too well, Phil. Well, based on sort of current track record, no. I can only go with what I've seen. We're not doing awful.
No,
We're back in the Champions League. We're back in the Champions League. That's great. If it's a case of having enough money to
Spurs and Arsenal model, Phil.
Oh,
Back in the Champions League is the Spurs and Arsenal model.
Top ball.
But, well, that's the thing. We've still got to class that as a step forward. We've gone from 8th to the Champions League. But if we just do what we do, like last time we finished second, and then we're back in the shite for a few years.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm coming off as a right pessimistic prick. But
no, it's the attitude a lot of us seem to have had. And I'll ask you again what I asked the lads last week. Will the last 10 days of this window have a bearing on how you view FSG overall, or will it not make much difference to your opinion of them?
Not at all. Nothing. It will make a difference because I think it was Phil said just on Twitter at the start of the season that we'll get promises from FSG, but ultimately they will be fulfilled.
So when did you start hating all Americans?
It'd probably be about the time I was in Tampa last October, and an American called me out because I didn't understand the need to play the national anthem before the opening of the fucking theme park every day. So, but apparently,
I love the fact that he's got an answer. Why do you hate all Americans? Well, let me tell you.
I love Americans. I love all Americans, each and every one of them. Genuinely, nothing but love for them all, except the Trump supporters.
I like people from Kansas because they send me barbecue sauce.
That's a valid reason to like someone.
Which is one occasion where the word tender comes in. Nobody listening is going to have a clue what that's about, but it's an inside joke. Look, Dan, getting back to the point, look, I don't think any of us can blatantly sit here and say they're great owners. They've been brilliant for the club, but I don't think it's fair, and I don't think you've said this, to say that they've been utter dog shit either. I think a lot of people are kind of not on the fence, but maybe to judge them 6 out of 10-ish, perhaps.
Yeah, that's about where I'd put them. And I'm not going to just flush them down the toilet like Phil, because he hates America.
Just kill them all.
Whoa!
Get them all! No,
strong.
Sitting there with a Snowball ISIS microphone.
Snowball, blue snow ISIS. We're gonna have to explain that. We're gonna have to explain that joke. Before we're coming on, Jonathan's getting all set up, but he's checking his sound, and we've all got these what are they called, blue snowball microphones, and Jonathan was like, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, I'm on the blue snow ISIS." So yeah, we wondered which way the pod was going the second we brought up blue snow. What is blue snow ISIS? Is that like the Arctic version?
Yeah, it's a cheaper version. It's the one I sent. It's the one I sent you, lads.
It's the one that's cold.
I've got the fully continental version.
What, of ISIS?
Yeah.
Careful,
top level
now.
ISIS. I can take over 7 different countries.
Well, we've now got new listeners, but they're from the government.
Yeah. Hi guys, welcome. Phil hates all Americans.
Don't let me travel.
Lads, we'll push on. This is a subject that's going to get us in trouble, and Phil in particular.
Other than ISIS. What's worse than ISIS?
Well, that's what I meant, actually. I didn't mean the next subject we were going to cover. But looking forward to Wednesday and what should and hopefully be a great occasion. The lights on at Anfield again, the Champions League music. I think they play the music in the qualifiers, don't they? Well, I'm fucking playing it. Somebody will play it. Doesn't matter. We'll sing it. It'll be there.
On your phone.
Jonathan, what are you expecting? And are you worried at all? Or like me, do you think that the job is done and you're a cocky, arrogant fucker?
Yeah, why not? Balls on the table. No, I'm very confident that we will get through. I think Klopp will have the players pretty well routed, simply because of the little spat he had afterwards with their manager. So that's definitely going to add a bit of drama on the sideline, if nothing else. I think we're set up pretty well to kind of sit nice and compact and just pretty much just rip them apart in the counter. Particularly if they try and have that high line again. Like that's football kamikaze in my mind. We will pick them off at the break. I think we'll play a lot better than we did in the away leg, and I'm very, very confident that we will get through and get the job done.
Do you think that the defensive coaches or the coaches have been working with our defence to stop that fucking fella chesting balls down every time, 50-yard diagonal balls, and your man seemed to be able to chest down and control every single fucking one of them that was hit over Moreno's shoulder?
Yeah, well, I'd probably like to say that I don't think Moreno will be starting. I think he'll have to play Robertson again. And the big, huge, high diagonal ball, I can see them trying a lot, but surely to Jesus, our coaching staff will have looked at that and made a plan to sort it out. It's hardly the most scientific of football tactics to try and defend against a long, high hoop from left to right. So yeah, no, you'd imagine that issue will be sorted, and I just think again. I think they might score. I think you're probably looking at a similar result, 2-1, 3-1, I think is what we're looking at really here.
I'm going to hold you to one result, so come on.
Hold me to one result. Let's go optimistic, 3-1.
There you go. Dan, I'll come to you next. You heard what Jonathan had to say, and one thing Jonathan reckons we're going to go Robertson at left back, but one fear I have is I do not like, and I'm probably going to get slated for this, I cannot stand seeing James Milner playing in central midfield, so I hope to God it doesn't happen. I don't want them anywhere near the central midfield. As far as I was concerned, if James Milner wasn't going to be playing left back in Champions League this season,
he wasn't going to be
on the pitch. So we heard Klopp saying in the press conference that having Milner is like having a new midfielder. I nearly cried.
Who asked him that question?
Some Irish fool. 3 minutes 49 seconds into the press conference, apparently, for those that don't know and haven't heard Jonathan's question that he never shuts up about, that's tattooed on him, that he says to his missus every night before he goes to sleep when she says, "Talk dirty to me, Jonathan." He's just 3 minutes 49, love. That's all I have to say.
Come on, that's a world record. I'll never last that long.
That's true. That's true. None of us have, but we can all talk. No, seriously, Dan, what are you expecting? And give me a score prediction, please.
I think we're going to lose 5-0. Pessimism in it.
You're probably right.
No, I'm joking.
We still get the 500 million though from FSG next season.
Yeah. No, I think I was going with 2-1. All I'd say is about the central midfield point. Would you rather have Milner, who work his socks off, he's relatively dependable if unspectacular, or would you rather have Jekyll and Hyde, Emre Can?
Oh God, Emre Can.
See, this is what I'd do. I'd play Can and Hendo. I'd drop Firmino back. I'd put Sturridge through the centre. That's what I'd do. So I'd have two sitting holding midfield players as such. Well, not really sitting, but I'd have two that stay back, and then I'd give Firmino that license to play in behind the front three. That's
fair enough.
Now, obviously, if you had to fit Lallana all day, Lallana's in there, but
yeah. Well, yeah. As soon as he's back from injury, for me, Milner drops out, Lallana goes in.
Yeah.
Is this where we need to strengthen though? Like, is this where Klopp seen a Naby Keita and thought, perfect?
Yeah, it's a prime example, isn't it?
Has anybody actually seen him play though?
No, we're all experts at this point. We're all experts at this point. We've followed them for years, loved them, always followed them since. I loved them since he was a kid.
Scouse Nation stuff.
I started watching them once we were started linked to them. That's the height of it.
I still can't say I've seen much of them. To be fair, I've watched more of Werner.
They've probably played one of the most craziest games of football you'll ever see was when they played Bayern Munich last season. It's like 5-4 or something like that. It's just one of the most bananas games you'll ever see in your life.
So he did a good job as a defensive mid, then, is what you're saying?
He did. What I knew he was going to be the perfect signing for us was it was 4-4 and it just gone into like the 93rd minute of injury time or something like that. And he gets the ball and he goes on a charge, loses the ball. Robin picks up the ball, runs the length of the pitch and bangs it in, and Munich win 5-4. That's when I knew he was meant for us.
But going back to Wednesday, I think Trent's going to come back, providing he's fit. He'll regain his place, and they're going to bring I think Klopp's just going to revert back and have Salah in for Sturridge, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Not at all.
But I think we've got. You're probably going to laugh at me when I say this, but I'd keep Matip and Klavan as the two centre backs.
Jesus, who is this lad?
I wouldn't bring Lovren back in. But well, they've already got a clean sheet. They've got a clean sheet to the name. Just keep the momentum.
Strange but realistic logic.
There's definitely some relevance and some sense to what you're saying.
They have kept clean sheet, which is more.
Yeah, but you can also I'm never of this old mentality. It drives me daft. Don't change a winning team. Yes, you can. You can make a winning team better.
Yeah,
just because something went right one day and you have a better option, you don't upgrade to it. Does that? Sorry, I'll go off on a slight tangent. What was the reason for Lovren not playing at the weekend? Was it injury?
He was ill, wasn't he? Or he had something the way he just wasn't feeling A1. He was on the bench, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. I either read he had a slight bit of a feeling in training, or he wasn't feeling particularly good, but it was nothing to worry about. So he is technically fit. He should. Yeah, he is fit. I just think he didn't start because he just wasn't feeling A1. So, but I reckon that'll be different on Wednesday.
So, Danny, are you expecting him to go at a Klav and Matip partnership?
No, but I think we should. I think we'll see Lovren back in. Trent will come back in, and Salah. Like that, I think that's the way Klopp will go, because I think he knows his first team. Obviously, Trent's probably not first choice. He'd rather go with Klein when he's fit. But I mean, to be quite honest, I think most of the time our teams, like with what we've got up front compared to what we've got at the back, it's like a Ferrari towing a ladder.
Yeah, no, it is, to be fair. It's also tough not to get carried away with Trent and remember that he's still learning and he's still young, and that Klein on his day can be a damn fine fullback as well.
Absolutely.
Just can't cross.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Need Robertson to teach him how to cross.
Absolutely.
Robertson was just, every time he got the ball, whipping it around with his left foot. Mourinho would have been having orgasms looking at Robertson, thinking, what he could do for his left hand.
But he's no Luke Shaw.
He's no Luke Shaw. No, he hasn't quite ate his way to that stage yet.
He's literally half the man that Luke Shaw is.
Literally, yeah.
Hey. So, you just rescued yourself there, Dad.
Are you expecting Hoffenheim to come with the same attitude, or are they going to chase the game even more?
Well, they're going to have to chase, I think, because it's Champions League. It seems like a redundant statement to say, but Champions League is money. They're going to have to chase it. They're going to have to come at us. I think the point about us setting up to catch them on the counter isn't a bad one. I do worry about us inviting pressure because we've done that for years and it's not gone so well. But I still see us dealing with it. And like I say, I think it's going to be 2-1. I think again, I don't see us keeping a clean sheet, but at the same time, I don't see us losing.
I'll take that from the miserable nature of your answers tonight. I'm going to take that as a positive, and we'll finish with you on a happy note.
I'm ending on a high.
There you go. Phil, I have this vision now where we're talking about counter-attacking, and I see Salah and Mane on the halfway line like sprinters in the full position, ready, steady, go, like literally down on their hands and knees, crouched, ready to go, and balls just being launched over the high line of Hoffenheim, and let's see if you can get on to the end of it. That's pretty much what I'm expecting.
I'm probably not, I think I'm expecting a win. I'm going to say that first and foremost. There isn't any part of me that thinks a second leg at Anfield in the Champions League is going to go any other way other than in favour for Liverpool. I just can't see it. I reckon there's going to be a load of goals. I also reckon it's going to be a little bit dramatic. I think they're going to score first and we're going to win 3-1.
Interesting.
That's where I'm going. And the reason I'm going there is there'll be a little bit of touchy-feely. I reckon they'll nick an early goal, certainly within the first 15-20 minutes. And then we're just going to absolutely hammer them. Now, the thing I like about this is their manager seems like a bit of a dickhead. And I like that because he does just the way he talks. So the reason I like that is because...
Just chalk that up to another offensive comment from Phil.
Yeah. Well, they're all the same, aren't they? No, but
so that's just to be...
Is he American by any chance?
So Americans, Germans, everyone else. Anyone else you hate, Phil?
Yeah, most of the world, mate, honestly. I'm not that keen on Brits.
He doesn't like humans. He loves minions, though.
I don't like humans. But no, look, the reason I'm saying he's a dickhead, other than his comments and stuff, is I think he's going to make a mistake because he's going to think with his balls. He's going to come and he's going to attack. He's not going to try and be clever and hit us on the counter-attack. He's going to come to Anfield and he's going to try and attack. And the reason I like that is every time a team's tried to do that against us, we pick them off. Because if you don't play to our game plan and you try and play to yours, we rip you apart. We've got the pace to be able to do it. And you'll be dragged out of position and we'll batter you. We'll press you high up the field and we will get goals. So I reckon his arrogance and the fact that he thinks he's got big nuts is going to cost them 3 goals.
I can't see any, like I said when we started this, I can't see any scenario where we don't qualify. I'm with you. I see us winning this rather handily in the end because of their manager's hubris in his belief that he thinks that they're going to come there and they have any chance of outplaying Liverpool at Anfield because if there's one thing we could do, it's attack.
Definitely.
We cannot defend very well as of yet, but hopefully if Mr. Van Dijk arrives, that'll change. But I think we all agree, lads, there's going to be lots of goals. We're expecting 3+ goals in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yes.
And do any of us believe there's a clean sheet coming at our end?
Nope.
Not a hope.
No.
And I'm going to say first goal, Salah, for us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say
Mane.
that. I'm going to say that on every podcast all the way through the season. I'll be right at some point. Dan, who was your first goal?
Mane.
Phil?
Isn't that the same person?
Who?
Just
Mane
Mane
and
and
Salah.
Salah.
Yeah, they're one of the same. I have got. That's only really sarcastic, isn't it? They're all the same.
All them foreigners. Go on, Phil. Say it.
All those people Phil hates.
They're just foreigners. They're all the same. I actually really don't hate foreigners. I actually prefer foreigners to locals, just to clarify.
Well,
So just to piss everybody off.
the one time in my life I'll actually believe you because I know your wife is from overseas.
Yes.
So I know you're telling the truth in that sense.
That's
She's
not
not
a
from
good
America
example.
though.
I
I won't go mad. She's not from America like this.
Well, no, listen, I mean, there's love and then there's insanity. No, but who am I going first? I'm going Bobby. Bobby's my first goal scorer.
Jonathan?
I will go with Salah.
There, see. I knew we'd talk some sense eventually on the pod. Lads, we better cut it there. We've got so much we could keep talking about and it's been great fun. And we will be back on Wednesday with an off the cuff straight after the game. I think Jonathan, you're not going to be on that one. Is that right? You're heading off again on your Jolly Bobs.
Yeah, I don't think I'll make it, but I most definitely will watch the game. Myself and Phil might try and do something outside Anfield on Sunday. After the Arsenal game. So stay tuned to that.
Happy days. We'll probably most likely throw out a couple of periscopes around the game on Wednesday as well. So keep an eye out for them. I'll be here with Phil possibly, or I'll drag a couple of lads along with me on Wednesday for an off the cuff after the game. Phil and the guys will be here on Thursday with ARW Weekly. And huge thanks to Dan on making his first appearance on the show. And apologies for Phil, Dan. I know you know Phil, but I feel like I still have to apologise.
It's fine. Thanks for having me, boys.
I come with a disclaimer.
Well, we're going to have to get one now on Podbean or one of the sites, whoever people listen to us on. Before you listen to the podcast, please just click here.
Please note that Phil's hatred does not represent the group.
Exactly. We're going to throw you under the bus like Coutinho did with his agent.
Fuck it, it's fine.
Huge
I hate the bus.
To Phil and Jonathan as well for joining me this week. Thanks to you guys for listening. We'll be back soon. Take care.